Hey, this is Nutty Rock Chick. I apologise, but I'm not too well at the moment, so please forgive me if I'm not sounding or being as chirpy as I would normally be. I missed the pay-per-view, TNA pay-per-view last night, found a resolution. I watched it this morning, so I'm just going to run through what I thought about it. It's funny, every time I get to the point where I seriously am going to give up on TNA, they pull off a couple of matches that make me think, yeah, this is why I keep watching. The first match of the night was the number one contenders match, Beer Money versus Inc. There wasn't anything spectacular in this match, but it wasn't really a bad match either. Probably okay to good, so what, 2.5 stars? It was alright. It was watchable, and it was perfectly adequate for an opener. And I'm going to mess up the order of this, something rotten. Next was the Falls Count Anywhere with Tara and Mickie. Yeah, that was alright. It was, I don't know, brawl matches have never really been like a big thing for me. I tend to think it's two people running around and thumping each other and throwing each other into things, and I would rather see a good wrestling match than a backstage brawl match. It was alright for what it was. Yeah, it was alright. What, 1.5 stars, something like that. Well, I suppose I should give it 2 stars. You know what I mean, somewhere around there. Next was one of my favourites of the night, AJ Styles versus Douglas Williams. I got to the end of this and thought, you know what, this is why I put up with all the shit TNA comes out with. Because every so often they do matches like this, and I think, yeah, this is much more what I want to watch. I love the good in-ring wrestling. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good match. 3.5, 4 stars easily. I really enjoyed it. I genuinely did. After that, we had First Blood with RVD and Rhino. That was alright. Sort of solid 3.5 star match. I'm not the biggest Rhino fan in the world. I find him a bit dull. I still like RVD, but he's not the RVD that I really loved back in the day. It was an alright enough match, but that was kind of the theme for like a couple of matches. But then we got your channel. Sorry, feel free to ignore that. It's my chat from the game I play. Full Metal Mayhem with Machineguns and Generation Me, and that was absolutely brutal. It was another 3.5, 4 star match. Really genuinely enjoyable. And they did some spots I hadn't seen in a TLC match, which is always nice. I always love something different in a TLC match because they are such a niche thing that it's so easy to have it be a little samey. But I really enjoyed this. I think I could genuinely watch Motor City Machine Guns and Generation Me in any match and enjoy it, even when I've seen it 50 times. But this was different. It was interesting. I liked what they did with it. I liked the way they had to do the setup with the ladders to get at the belts, because the belts were that little bit too high. I really liked that. I thought that was really interesting. And they did all the like table spots you expect. And I was just looking at Max going, bloody hell, kid, because he took some serious knocks during this match. Bless his little cotton socks. I bet he's got some bruises after that one. Actually, I think Robbie E and Jay Lethal was before that one. Oh, no, I'm confused. I'm not very well. Give me some credit, guys. Robbie E versus Jay Lethal with Cookie suspended in a cage. Blah, 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 blah. It was alright. I don't like Robbie E at all. I do like Jay Lethal, but I just find anything with the whole Shore thing. I don't really get it. I've never seen Jersey Shore, so I don't really get why they're doing the whole fist pump thing and what it's supposed to mean, and I just find it a bit blah, to be honest. And speaking of blah, I'm so sick of them burying the Pope. For fuck's sake, let him win. Just like occasionally would be good. Ugh. It was an alright match though. There was a couple of bits where I was like, ooh, Pope might actually win. But no. I just kind of thought, when I hear Casket Match, my brain screams Undertaker. And no matter what they do, I don't think Abyss is never going to be the Undertaker. He just isn't. And it's just kind of... I know you really shouldn't compare TNA and WWE, but when they're using WWE matches in TNA, you can't help but do it. Oh yeah, and then we had the submission with Samoa Joe and Jeff Jarrett. Ugh. It was alright for what it was, I suppose. There was some vaguely interesting moves. I really don't like Jeff Jarrett. I wish I could. I kind of want to see in him what some people say in him, but in the back of my mind, he's still the jobber from WWE. He didn't get anywhere. I know he went off and did other things in other companies and did quite well and all that, but I just don't rate him. And I do love Joe. Bless him, I do love Joe. I think he's brilliant, and I hate seeing him jobbing to a nobody from Nowheresville. I really do. It's just depressing. But I did go, Joe. Though not with my usual vigour, because I'm not very well. I'm sorry. World title match, we had Jeff Hardy versus Matt Morgan. Everyone was saying that Hardy was absolutely blasted. Sorry. Was absolutely blasted backstage. And I'm like, oh dear. And apparently, like, before the match, they were umming and ahhing about whether to just, like, send Jeff Hardy home and figure out another storyline or something. But, it's quite interesting, though, in all of the news clippy things about it on the web pages. They say, like, they figure out new they were working at figuring out new storylines. 20 minutes before the pay-per-view went live, TNA considered removing him from the show. It should be noted that they never suggested firing him. It should also be noticed that TNA management considered several replacement matches, as well as finding a storyline reason of stripping the title from Hardy, but in the end they decided to stick with the match as planned, which saw Hardy retain the title. What's interesting about that is that they didn't even consider giving it to Matt Morgan, which makes me think they really, really are not going to go with him, which is a shame, really, because he kind of like... He'd be fun as a transitional champion until Anderson's well enough. Okay, so that was my run through of Final Resolution. Did I do the stars on some of those? I don't think I did I? I'm sorry. Brain. I'm sorry. I'm really not well. Please forgive me. I know I look like poo as well, which doesn't help. It's not exactly good for a girl's ego. Right, let's see if I can re-find the bloody card for you. And I'll go back through and redo the... Yeah. There we go. Oh, that's the really long one. Anyway, overall, there was 2 nearly 4-star, if not 4-star matches. The rest were okay to good. There was nothing really bad on this show. I mean, the brawling thing with the knockouts wasn't really my cup of tea, but it wasn't bad for what it was. Overall, I don't think it was a bad pay-per-view. I said every time I get to the point where I'm like, I don't know, no more, I give in. They showed me a couple of matches that are really good, and I'm like, oh, okay. I'll keep watching. If you don't watch anything else on the pay-per-view, go watch Motor City Machineguns versus Jemmy in, they call it Full Metal Mayhem, don't you? It's a TLC match. Full Metal Mayhem. And AJ versus Doug Williams is a good actual wrestling match. And that's it, really. Okie dokie, I shall see you guys soon. And hopefully I'll be slightly more sprightly in my next video. Take care, guys.